We will speak today about limitation and also about cause and effect, amongst other things. I have an ability that enables me to become a conduit for other entities to come through my vessel, yeah, and for them to be able to pass messages through, and for their being to be able to come directly into my being, yeah. And it takes a lot of energy, yeah, to do it, right? It draws a lot of power, and it can be dangerous as well if we don't know what we're doing, right? So most of the meditations that I do them in the daylight. In the moonlight, I'm able to do that. So I'm able to go into a space, yeah. I'm able to come out of the physical plane, yeah, right, and I'm able to go onto the astral, right, and then I'm able to merge the worlds. I'm able to merge the physical matter with the spirit plane, right, and then what happens is I become a portal that allows other beings that are trapped in limbo, yeah, to be able to come through my vessel, and they're able to then release what is with the angst, yeah, yeah, and all of the negative energy that is within them, that is pent up within them, which is causing them to suffer, which has caused them to become stagnated and stuck. Yeah, that's how this simulation works, right? So just outside of this physical phase, there are many beings. There are beings that are just around. Like, it could be somebody just whispering in my ear right now, right? And I've had various scenarios, and I spoke about it before on here as well. So if I was sat with you and you wanted to connect with somebody who a loved one, or someone that's passed away, or whatever it may be, yeah. If you are within my space and our auric fields are connected, yeah, then I can pull that. I can pull that being through. One of the ways I did it with a partner, right, my partner that I'm with now, but I've had sexual connection there as well. So which makes it easier, right? So what I'm able to do is for that being to come directly. They come into my vessel, into my body, yeah, and then they speak directly through my mouth. The voice changes, everything changes. One of the ways that we're able to do this, to interact with it, is through screens. Yeah, through screens is one of the ways that's what we call spirits can interact with the physical. Yeah, and I was looking at something recently. There was a guy called Adam Lanza. I'm not going to show anything today. I'm not going to, but I wouldn't also want to put any sort of power to this. And what this being was doing, yeah, was he was also became a portal, yeah, unknowingly, yeah, for entities to come through, right? And he was using screens, and this was the guy that did a shooting in 2012, which is 4, right? Which is and the name, the place that they did it, which is Hook, which is 31. So the Hook again is 13, right? And Sandy, which was 9, and then that gave the 49. So and then also what happened was, most of the shootings that was done, they was done in the classroom 8 and 1, which gives us the 9, right? And there were 27 victims in total. There were 27 at the school apparently, which made it 27. But this entity, right, was using screens, was addicted to screens, right? And he also had something where I like to call it an ability, because a supernatural capability really is something that you comes through the being, it grows upon you, or it manifests within your reality, and then you begin to work with it, right, for the forces of light or darkness, right. And what this being did, right, was kill all these people, right, 27 of them, and the children that he killed were all 6 and 7, right. So the reason that I'm mentioning that is because we don't recognize and realize, yeah, through the collective consciousness, where we are and the power of what's actually happening in this place here, right. So like I was saying, I have an ability to be able to do that, and I have brought through several beings, and also when this first initially happened to me in 2012 or 11, something like that, the one situation after the first being that I brought through, like I think I've mentioned this before, was a man and his family was trapped not too far from, he wanted to see his family, right, but they get stuck in the limbo. This is what happens, yeah. When you get hypnotized by matter, the beings, they get stuck in the limbo phase. The limbo phase, to them, it's a bit like the reality, but they're trapped there. They cannot communicate with the beings in the physical, but they would love to be able to do that. And man causes himself, man tries to create his own version of reality, and that in itself causes beings to become trapped in the limbo phase. When man tries to define what God is, or what this or what that is, this is what happens, right? When we adulterate matter, this is what happens, right? So that being was in a screen, it was in a glass, not glass, sorry, a mirror. It's a scrying mirror, right? And what happens is, if you're able to do this correctly, right, the being comes through my face and I can see him in my face. That's what happens. But his voice takes over my voice. Very, very powerful stuff, right? And these things that I speak about are not things that you can just ordinarily start doing, right? I would love to be able to get beings to the point where we as an adept initiate, like they wear a visor, like you're going to start seeing now, which is what was happening in the physical. We're going to start seeing where beings, where they put a visor on, and that visor is going to introduce them to a new world. A being, the true being is supposed to be able to rise up into the light and then access the darkness, and then be able to see a whole new vision, to see the true blueprint. Yeah, being able to see that true blueprint. I'm talking about a reality like this one, but we're not limited. This is what we're going to speak about, limitation. The word Satan is in alignment with the word limitation, right? And within that true blueprint, when one wakes up, yeah, out of this dream, then the limitation doesn't exist anymore. Yeah, so we can then pull that light, that ray of light, as that absolute light, and we can see and beings dancing within that ether within the hand. Yeah, or we can raise up to that light, to that what we call the sunlight, and we can magnify and interact with it by giving it our own light, and those two forces can be radiating against each other like this. But you imagine you up in the sky doing that. You can't do that here now, because you have been deliberately limited, and you are bound and in bondage. And without recognizing such, then we cannot release that limitation. Yeah, and that's and that limitation is something that wasn't even in the physical to begin with. It's something that grew upon us and became a density. So when the sun and the moon, the sun, the moon and Saturn, these were when they were much closer in, yeah, in a much less denser phase, things were much lighter here. They were not as dense as what they are, and that is a part of the fall of man and woman, right? So the reason that I was mentioning that, yeah, is because that's what brings me on to speaking about what I'm going to talk about here. But the one thing that I was saying in 2011 and in 2012, yeah, in 2011 and 2012, right? And in 2011, the work that I was doing, interacting on the spirit phase, in the limbo phase with these beings, right? What happens is with many of these beings is that they see you, if you have this ability, right? Yeah, then they see you as a shining light, as a rescue. It's called rescue. It's called a rescue, right? And what happens is they see you, and you are able to rescue them. They're able to use you as a conduit to be able to get out of that limbo phase. Yeah. If they are able to interact with you, right? To recognize that spirit. Because what you have to remember is that these beings have denied spirit. Evil. What is evil? Yeah. Evil, yeah, is the denial. So for example, the one that is in denial of the spirit and soul, but only reason it doesn't deny the body is because it visibly manifests itself in such a bold fashion. Yeah. Because if one was to denial of the body, then if you did denial of the body, then you were saying that body, to me, doesn't exist. It's not of me. I don't want anything to do with this body, right? Yeah. Therefore, you would be saying that you to be diminishing the body, killing the body, killing something that is born of nature. Yeah. If we wanted to become more clairvoyant, then like what a lot of the in the mystery school stuff, what it used to do, we watch the process of life expanding. So an example of that, a child, when a child, this is what I mean, some of the things that I've been hearing, you'll be here of late, with people saying things without true wisdom and experience, and without being in, without thinking directly from the perspective of the creating light, creating forces, right? So when you be watching the growth of something in its early stages, and to watch it grow, that in itself opens and expands the mind through, and expands the imagination by watching creation grow from a single point, from a mono point outwards, and then contracting back inwards, which is the decaying, the life and decay scenario. So a child, when the child is in its early stages, 1, 2 and 3, yeah, the magnetic field is expanded. So what happens is, even and it's what I speak about, ultra sensitivity. So with any issue that comes to any negativity that comes to the parent of the child, even in jest. So if your child is here and two people start play fighting, right? What'll happen is the child will instantly pick up any sort of pain that is coming from the parent. There's a lot of flies flying around here, right? They will instantly pick up any pain, like I say, that is coming from the parent, even if it is hardly anything at all, even if even if they're just joking and they're hardly not even doing anything, right? This slightest negative noise or sound, the child will instantly read that and pick that up as an alteration in that magnetic field, and then its emotional field, it is tethers with the parent, so it can feel that. What stops that level of empathy, that level of that magnetism there with the emotional field, that only diminishes within us because of what we do, because our inability to command our discipline, yeah, and our inability to recognize all things as they are, and selfishness and greed. Because of those things is what causes us, yeah, to diminish and for the field to contract. So what we do, which is an act of evil, without knowing, you see, this is what this video is. The knowledge of evil isn't there's nothing wrong with. It's the practice of it that is the issue. That is the act of evil. Yeah. So when we deny the soul and we deny the spirit, which is the body is only moving because of the spirit, because of what spirit is. Yeah, another video can explain what soul and what spirit are. Spirit is. Soul is in connection with the conscience. It's consciousness, which is psychoactive. Right. So when we deny what the beings here deny soul and they deny spirit, right? This is like one bubble, just one bubble, and in this bubble, they have this endless force that runs its way to and fro through matter, and it is the governor of matter, right? And what it will do is it will trick, and it creates illusions constantly, and it enchants the weak. Yeah, and when it does this, yeah, they become enchanted by it, and they become hypnotized by that, and then they become engulfed in that, and then they get eaten. I'll put it on here, right? They get eaten by this force. You call it Saturn. Yeah, this is how this works. So it's like if I said to you, listen, come with me. I want to talk. I want to teach you something. I want to tell you something. If you know that I'm going to speak of this knowledge and wisdom and stuff like that, and illumination, and then you say that you don't want to, and then what these beings here would say is that they don't want to come with me over here so I can explain to them this, because they don't want to hear of it. Yeah, because why do they not want to hear of it? Because they want to remain with what they already know, which is what comes to the forefront first. Matter opposes spirit in that's what happens. Yeah, so they go with what they can see. They cannot see the soul or the spirit behind it, so they only go with the material, with the matter, and then that's what makes them evil. So most of the beings that we walk around, they are committing acts of practicing evil. Yeah, but they don't know what the knowledge of evil is, but yet they are practicing it, which makes it a very dangerous situation, right? Now, what I was just saying, so when I became a portal for these beings, my body, my physical body, was paralyzed, and because I opened up a Pandora's box, sort of thing, yeah, not on my own, right, yeah, by somebody who has great power, right, in this physical plane, right, yeah, and then when I did that, I was on my own, but the stuff I was doing with the mirrors was in the dark, in the moonlight, in the night, with candle, with organic plasma light, right, but this other situation was it just happened while I was working slavery, doing it, and that, right, and so I just sat. Luckily, I was at home, and I sat down on the chair. I fell down on the chair actually, but the way it felt was just orgasmic, but it was very, very intense. It's always like that. Anyway, because the emotional field has to expand. Everything expands. All the 7 fields expand, and then the other 5 rays of light that are not visible in the matter phase, then what happens is they then become active. You're not able to see them. So a lot of entities were using me as a portal to be able to get out, to go elsewhere. Yeah, right. Now, those sort of things you may not hear. You're not going to hear very often. You're not going to hear very often, but it is very, very real. Yeah, very, very, very real. And the reason I explain this to beings is because matter here, and the beings that work with matter, would like to deceive you, because what this force does is it sits at your feet and it tempts the worthy, the light. You are of the light, so you can see more of what the beings here can see, and that in itself may frustrate you. And this is why I'm here to tell you that it is supposed to be like this deliberately. Even if, these situations where I have things written down on the phone, right. Even if a situation was to arise where there was no food, or just anything, any situation that arises, you are going to be able to recognize it before the characters will recognize it. Yeah, and you will experience it in a more intense fashion in many respects than what they will do. Right. So they don't know why they shouldn't eat the animals and things like that, but you do. So if you do, then now your conscience will come into play, and your conscience is your soul. yeah, and then you will have to live with that here, yeah. This is what happens. So the whole thing, yeah, is about us being able to overcome, and then thus integrate, and thus then create a singularity, yeah, of the forces that are here. So what happens is that this what it will then do, this force, it eats the unwise. So the unwise, it eats them, yeah. This is what happens, right? It eats the unwise and it eats the evil. But in the matter phase, it appears as though it is working directly for them. That's how it appears. But in reality, really, what is actually really happening is that they are being tricked, and the ultimate deception falls upon them. And then what happens is they then end up in this limbo phase. In a limbo phase, whereby they will perceive reality as though it's really still happening, but it's not quite the same, right? It's not quite the same. It is another form of prison. It's another form of prison, and then even this is another form of prison. It's because you keep bouncing back here all the time. And this is why it's hard for beings to recognize and to be able to work upon the astral and to know of your lineage and what you are. Like, I know that this is the second time I've been here, yeah. But because I keep bouncing back here all the time, it's easy for me to regain that memory. It's easy for me to regain. It's easy for me to access who I truly am, yeah. In order for me to be able to come on this camera now and to feel a need to have to do this. So for example, they set up the YouTube thing and everything else, and we don't set the workings of how it's going to be. It is already been preset for us. We don't get to decide how that's going to be, yeah, right. Same with all of the platforms, the technology that is being used, and that is because of man's love for material, for matter. So we don't get to decide that. So what happens is, in matter, yeah, when one doesn't truly know, and many we do not know, but we will are learning to know, right? When you know who you are and what you are, when you are able to come out of this phase, yeah, over lifetimes, and it's happening more now because of the crescendo point that we're at, yeah, and the work that must be done, and the revelations that must take place, and the unveiling that must happen. When you are able to do that, you know that the light that you are is to be given out, but not to be the other way round, which is to be taken of the light of others. So characters will have YouTube channels and they'll go, yeah, I've got this many followers, man, and they've got this many, and they're doing it, and they're running around doing all these things to get more followers, blah 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 blah, because they are needing they want the light of the other beings. They want the light. When what the soul will recognize is that I have a level of infinite light. That light I will give it outwardly. That light needs to be given outwardly. These are things that get seen, which you know, when you go out into the other worlds. Because you will know what happens is, you will learn that here is a more, as I always say, mundane, is a more lesser plane. It's like, there's loads of these. There's loads of them, right? But this one, and you're experiencing them simultaneously, right? But this particular one there's a deep story with it, contains a lot of heavy restriction. But we know as souls, when we enter this one here, that there's the darkness that encompasses this plane. We are here to try and release that. We are not here to release that. We are here to release that, and that is what we will do. That is what happens. That is how it works. But we have to recognize how this actually works. So you will see now that there is going to be this digital reality coming in, and that digital reality comes in through cause and effect. Because the beings here don't recognize the beauty and the spirit and the soul that resides within this place here, right? because they don't recognize that, then matter gives them more of the dense, harsh, restrictive reality that they want. Because you get caught out tricked by limitation. Because you fall over and you hurt yourself. And you go, oh, it's a hard day, and you get tired. You get tired. How do we release this? You see, the lower band of energy means that I'm tired. And if I am tired, I don't travel. I stay restricted in one place. This is what they have done as well. Yeah, I stay restricted in one place. And what actually happens is, this is another thing that I've got so many things to speak about in this video, right? It's like lemmings, right? The beans, so you've got all these ants or these lemmings running, and they got to run down this ridge, down this bridge, down this river here, right? But what happens is, there are these beans at the top that throw boulders at them to stop them from getting, which stops them from getting from A to B, limits them from getting from A to B. But instead of them recognizing that, hang on, these boulders are being thrown from up above. Why are they being thrown from up above? They don't do that. What they do is the ones that get through, they go, oh, thank God I got through. Oh, damn, don't worry about the rest of them. I got through, I'm all right. That's what they do. And then the boulders keep getting thrown because what they keep doing is they keep missing the cause at the top where the boulders are being thrown down, and all of their other brothers and sisters got killed by these boulders. But they don't care, the ones that got through, because they were okay, because I've been saved, and that makes them a Satanist. The reason that I'm saying it, because words, the definition of words is very powerful. So I use a word like Satan or divine or whatever, and then another being, then you take that, and then your brain then, because of the way everything is compartmentalized, and you go, oh, he's saying Satan, oh, that means he's talking about Christianity, he's talking about this, and it's not. These are occulted concepts that began way before the word Christianity was even thought of. Way before that. It's like the magicians, yeah, the Magi, when they were doing certain rituals and sex rituals and everything else, yeah, and all of these things that involve working with forces. Like I was just saying, I've got an ability that enables entities that I can bring beings through my vessel that are dead. I can communicate with the dead, right? So because I can communicate with the dead now, then another being would fear that and go, oh, he's communicating with the dead, get him, or whatever, right? Because out of fear, right? And so this is the reality that we've created, yeah? So a metaverse is able to come because sorcerers recognize that man runs away from the limitation that he needs to learn to overcome. Yeah, and this is what happens. So one of the things, and yeah, so here, right, in Portugal, right, the woodland is called mata. It's mata. They call it mata, right? So they know already. You're saying this is mata. This is a layer of mata. Forest, the dense forest is called mata, right? Yeah. So let me just these things, because what happens, you see, is the things come to me, and I always say I have to write them down, and I actually have to do these videos, or I have to put them out, right? Regardless if anybody likes them, how many people like it, don't like me because I've said it, or whatever, because I know what's going to happen here, and I know what this is, and I know what happened last time I was here, and I know about the beings that were caused by some of the actions that were made by my being, yeah, that caused an issue, yeah, like a flood event, yeah, which, so this is what happens, you see. It's like it's any of us, it's a simulation, right? So you come here, you have experiences here, and they become attached to those experiences. You go somewhere, you go on holiday, certain things happen there, or whatever, and now now you've got to go back there because you've left stuff there. So now you've got to go back and finish it off. Yeah, it's like that. Yeah, I can't speak for other beings, I'm speaking for myself. I move beyond the egotistical, oh, look at me, I'm grand, or whatever it may be. We have to get beyond all of that, right? And the technology that is being used is in alignment with that Jezebel energy. I told you it has Belial in it. Belial in it. This, in actual fact, in the Kleepoth, which I put up before with the tree of death, right? Yeah. In Malkuth, which is this, is Lilith. Now Lilith is is one of 4 demonesses, and the mother of the demonesses is Nama, right? You'll find this in Jewish Kabbalistic magical writings, and also within the Bible. You'll find it in there as well, but you'll find it it'll contradict itself, and it will give you that Nama was connected to a Tubal Cain, but then she was Noah's wife, and it's which can be two entities, but it has much deeper meaning. It's telling you about the energy of woman, right? Which is, I've been speaking about it before, and that is where we have to recognize. You see these Sephiroth, right? They're masculine and feminine, right? And they're positive, negative, right? And the core of where we are at, our issue, is the dynamic between the man and woman here, in alignment with the soul, right? Not just in alignment with the body. With the body, it's in alignment with sex, or man and woman, right? And man and woman have this dance together in the same way as we looked at in many of the videos that I have done before, yeah. Especially when we was looking at the Enneagram and I showed you with the numbers, they dance, the positive and negative, masculine and feminine. 1, 2, 3. There's a dance that happens here. So you know, woman will sometimes become jealous of the attributes of man, fear the attributes of man, and man does the same with woman. The sorcerers then use that. Right? And that is what the sorcerers had done, which is what I'm speaking about now, with this situation as we unfold into this next phase, right? You can't stop it. And the same way we always think, right, the planets are going to line up now, and that means that now the planets will line up, and then what that means at about 3 or 4 o'clock, right, they're all going to line up. The spirit that the soul and the work that I'm trying to do within myself is just automatically going to just happen now, because the planets lined up, and then we're going to get out of here, and then we're going to leave all these character demons behind. It's not going to work like that, as I've always stated. Yeah. What you think it could take a couple of minutes could take years. Yeah. What you think is 7 days to us. Yeah. 7,000 years to us. To the earth is 7 days. Yeah. It's like that. There's a staggered thing happening here. So nothing really going to happen right now. It's like now with the thing with the food, because they and all this sort of stuff. It may not happen like that. And you'll still get food because you can grow it. You can grow it, right? But they're giving you a reality that they want to manifest. I already knew about it years ago. Super meat, because they want to get rid of the meat and all that. So then imagine if you know about it, and when veganism come, I knew it. So I was like, right, that's coming now then, because that's what that was. They're taking you away from to eating animals, so they make the people eat the bugs and blah 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 blah. But the reason that does that is because they have the backing of the force that governs matter. It's backing them to do that. Yeah, it's exceptionally hot here. Yeah, I love the heat. I love to talk, so it makes my head sweat. It's good. I'm perspiring. It means that I'm healthy. My body's cooling itself down naturally. Right. So anyway, so I'll read this. When we allow ourselves to become captured, when we allow ourselves to be captured by gazing upon matter, it enchants us. Right. When we allow ourselves to be captured. When we allow ourselves to be captured by gazing upon matter, because when I've just written these in notes, so I have to read like some of the grammars that we write, because I've just written it down. So when we allow ourselves, because this is why we have to take responsibility, because you're a supreme being. You're a supreme being inside of a holographic holographic simulation, which is limited and restricted, bound by a force. You have to overcome that because you're a supreme being, right? So when we allow ourselves to be captured by gazing upon this matter, the beings, they gaze upon the matter. A lot of the women, I've noticed, everything I give you is notice that I've seen over since I came here. Because since I came here, my memory, I can remember pretty much everything of me being here, and knowing that's not right. Yeah, there's something weird about it. They will gaze upon the clothes and things like that. Yeah, and what this does is it further confirms the limitation and the restricted illusion that is being presented before these two dualistic eyes. Right. It deliberately makes us suffer as it ushers us away from as ushering away from such intense focus upon it, so moves us back towards spirit. Right. So what I'm saying now, right, is what it's doing is it's ushering us away from spirit, because we are so focused upon the matter. Yeah. Actually, so focusing upon it moves us away from spirit, right? Right, so let me just get this right. And so it moves us back towards spirit, and gives our all to matter, right? So, right, this has taken place for lifetimes, right? It drifts into evil the more we refuse to stop giving our all to matter, right? It's like putting our fingers in the fire, right? So which is what I'm saying there, which is what I already just said. When we keep gazing upon the matter with such deep focus and intent upon the way that we look, even the body of a woman, yeah, and then the lust that comes from that. This is like putting our fingers in the fire, because what this is doing is it is keeping us away from spirit, because we are so deeply focused upon material, upon matter. Yeah. And then what matter does is it enchants us. It casts a spell upon the being that does that. Yeah. And which beings do that? All of the beings, or 90% of the beings that we see that are here. Yeah. So it's like one does martial arts. One wants to focus upon the fact that they want another man. They want to beat another man, right? Or they don't want to be. They want to make sure that a man doesn't beat them. They want to beat this other man, or they want to be strong and be overly fighting. They don't recognize that the spirit and the soul that starts to come into the body as we start to come out of beta, when we are moving in particular patterns. Yeah, when we are mastering something like yoga, because it's the same sort of thing. When we are mastering this art, and they are mastering these patterns, which are called katas, right? Which begins with K, because it's an active principle, right? Yeah. Yeah. Then the body is moving, and when you're mastering this art, because it's an art. When we start to master the art, the soul starts to come in, and the body mind starts to drift back towards the back, and the soul starts to come through. Yeah. And then as we master the art, the soul comes through as we become the master. Yeah. Yeah. But that doesn't take place when the being is so focused upon the matter. What happens is we get UFC and all that. You want to kick people's head in and all that and all that sort of stuff. And then the true meaning of the art gets put towards the back, because we are hypnotized, we are enchanted by matter, because matter, which is the fire within the matter. Yeah. Closer to the red earth. In Africa they call the red earth, which is Mars, red fire, matter. Right. The mud here, some of the mud here, it's like a red earth. Yeah. So that's what was meaning by that one there, right? Now, and the world of cause and effects, yeah. By not knowing these allows evil to flourish, because man thinks that there are no consequences. We see within the intense level of scams that we see here now, right? So the man doesn't recognize, and when I say man, was manu, which was a definition for both man and woman, manu, right? So when man doesn't recognize, if I tell you an example, if I say to these beings, because I study them, and if I sit one of them down and I say, do you know that, right, look, if I said to them, look, do you know that the reason that you don't have much money, right, and the reason that you don't have, you keep having these relationships that keep breaking down, right, is because of what you did when you were, what you did going back to this time, when you did this and this, and you did this to this woman, and you did this to this woman, you did this and that, right, and you were physically abusive or whatever you were doing, right, or the way that you keep getting angry every single day, yeah, is the reason why nothing ever goes right for you. That being will go, no. They'll tell me that I'm an idiot. They don't want to hear it. Like, trust me, you may have, look, listen, I'm someone that does this all the time, right? And this is what I'm saying about the schism, the dynamic between man and woman as well. And you will be tested, and I am tested. My partner is nowhere near the level of consciousness as what I am. Nowhere near. But she's conscious enough to be able to embrace some of the things that we do, the raw lifestyle, the urine, all of those sort of things. Because if she wasn't, with what the level of things that I do as an alchemist, she wouldn't be able to come nowhere near me. I would be the total worst thing in the world to a lot of these beings. You're like garlic to a vampire. He can't stand you. You're like dog milk. It's like you're trying to eat dog milk. They don't want to be around it. They don't want it. So I hope you understand what I'm saying here. And that is the workings of this plane. So because of the way matter works, because the beings, they don't recognize the workings of cause and effect. Cause and effect can only be recognized by the soul, because it takes humility to recognize the workings of cause and effect, which comes into play when we disobey, and dharma when we obey. Yeah, this is how it works, through lack of discipline, through a refusal to discipline oneself, to refusal to work upon oneself. Yeah, so because of that, it keeps building up and building up and building up and building up. The world of the effects by these continuous causes. Yeah, and because of that now, so what do we have now? We have a situation where no one can trust no one, right? In that world, where everybody think they're getting scammed, think they're going to get scammed, right? Constantly, yeah. And then the currencies that are in place, beings think that every single thing. This is how they manipulate it. The beings, they think every single thing that is being brought to them is designed to get them, or it's coming from the man, the beast. The beast has done it. You can see why we have to be careful, because it's not nothing new. Even when in our conscious realm, there were already people that were already doing it before. Oh, the witch has done it. The magician has done it. They didn't do it. It was them that did it. It was you that did it. No, nobody did it. You did it. Right. And we allow that. So what the sorcerers do is that they manipulate the man's inability to command matter. They manipulate it, and from our perspective, as the soul, supreme being, in coming in, is that we are this force. It sits at our feet and tempts us. because we can recognize it and see it. And it wants to do that because you see, when you get to Saturn, what happens is they get eaten back up and split back out and they come back down. Yeah. But the supreme beings, the beings, once we are there doing the work, it's a different kettle of fish. It's a different ball game. We're not all trapped here. We're not all trapped here, right? Some of us are able to interact and work in different worlds, and we are here on a mission. And you can see that it's the way that it's starting to it's already unfolding now. So that's why you would have like a metaverse now, because the beings have already says, well, no, matter is, they don't like it, they don't want to work with it, they don't like it, it's no good, yeah. And then so the matter will go, okay, great, that's great. So we'll take it down to another level then. We'll give you even more of what you want, which is it's no good, which is, you know, everything's been destroyed. We're doing this. We've killed all the animals. We're eating all this. You know, we're wasting all the resources. Blah 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 blah. So now it's the sun is incoming with this new heat now. But the beings, because they're so detached from nature, they don't recognise that the paradigm has shifted, and it's why it's so hot in places like the UK now, when usually it's usually never nowhere near as hot as that. Or it has been, but it's not. It continuously keeps altering all the time. Yeah, because we're constantly shifting, all the time, constantly shifting. And this is when, again, when I speak about with what we call number, which is not number at all. This is not number. This is what we call as number. These are also portals. These are also portals. This is the mathematical thing. If you break me down, you'll see that I'm standing here as a mathematical equation. That's the reason why I'm standing here like this. And everything else that's moving around is operating in a waveform. Your mother is a serpent, and that's why matter, which is what I was on about those 4 demonesses, which is why matter is the fall of Eve, falling into matter, and she gives birth to her son, which is the commander of the matter. But he's an egotistical entity who resides within the depths of matter, which is evil, which is time, which will burden any being, any angelic being. What steps foot in here will be burdened by time, because the body decays over time. Yeah, but the time is not linear, it's not real. But this is how matter could cast its illusion upon the beings that are here. Because they think that when the body perishes, that they will die. And this causes them to be in fear. And they say that what you call Satan is the fear of the Lord. This is what they say. It's not my words, it's what you'll find in occult literature. It's there. So, when a baby is one, it is pure and tranquil and peaceful, releasing beauty through its stillness. Yeah. But when the baby becomes 2, it becomes driven towards matter, and it becomes terrible twos. Runs around, blah, 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 because it's now starting to interact with material matter, falling over, banging its head, this, that, and the other, breaking things, pulling things down off the side. This is matter. If I fall down now, then I will hurt myself and go, ah, damn! This and itself casts, enchants the weakness in man. And he sees himself. He doesn't have to say the things I'm saying. He doesn't have to come and go, I've been limited by this matter, now I'm evil. They don't have to say that. It is within their being, within the mind, which is the mind, mentalism first. You want to go with the laws out of the Kabbalion, you'll see that mentalism comes first. So what man thinks is everything. As he thinks it, so shall it be. So because man thinks that matter confirms to him that he is a beast of burden, who is totally destitute and totally imperfect, he then continues to carry that fruit into fruition, and he then bees exactly what he's initially seeing on the first layer. He doesn't look below that layer to see the beauty that is encompassing all things. It's like, you see the blue, you can see the blue that's there. Before I became activated, I couldn't see the beauty of that blue before that. Not like I could see it once 2010 and all that period came. Once I started to do the work upon my consumption, then all the colours started to become heightened. Yeah. And it's like I was looking, there was people in a group, they were talking about like Portugal around here now, and they were sat at and one of the, this is why we say these beings, characters, this is why, right? Not because we're being horrible or nasty, childish, because that is the way that it is. And they were saying, why would he go to Portugal? Shall I go to Portugal instead of staying here in London? And the other beings are saying, well, you're going to get some more of the same, this bureaucracy and blah, 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 blah. Because you're missing that. And I thought, look at that. Because that being will go there, and they will not be able to feel the energy and the beauty of being there. Or the idea that they will miss, they want to be a slave still or something like that, want to still be going to work. They cannot see it on that surface layer. There is no need for them to move from where they are at, because to them, they will still feel the same if they move to somewhere else that has more nature and what the sun. There's more magnetism. That doesn't do anything for them. So they may as well just stay exactly where they are. Yeah, because this is why feeling and the emotional field, the expansion of, is so vitally important. Because man and woman is enslaving themselves through their own vessel. Because they are in denial of the spirit and the soul, which then makes them evil. It makes them in alignment with, to work with evil. Yeah, because of that, right? And the Jezebel mind, the persona, is deliberately ignored. Yeah, as it's the underworld theme that causes death, much generational suffering and suppression of the balance masculine and feminine. So this Jezebel mind, the persona, is deliberately ignored, right? Because it is deliberately ignored. Yeah. And that Jezebel is because you see, there are goddesses, there are fallen goddesses, right? Even when we speak about a pre-dynastic time where we say, well, it was matriarchal and the women were, and it was like that. But so the women were more the victory. That one there similar had when there was the woman and the sword. Yeah, she's got the crowning, Sophia and the sword. And the other one where she's like that with the sword, but she's also got the beast on the back, the goat, Good, which is a god. Goat. The god here used to be because of goat. The goat. And why not? Why not? Because it's only by riding that goat, by overcoming overcoming the darkness that resides within you, which what's going to lead you towards that light of you of recognizing your own godhood nature, of recognizing your own supremacy outside of the physical plane. That you would be better off doing that. Yeah. So that goat would do all of the lustful acts, obscenities, the diabolism again, diabolical. Yeah. Working with dark forces. Yeah. How? But without even knowing that you're doing it. Do you know the beings that recognize that they are doing such acts? So if we create an act of sexual orgy, right, in order to produce something, in order to create something, that would be less evil. Yeah, that would be worthy of something, rather than just going out when they go out on the when they go out on the like what they call it, right? Saturday, right? Samadhi. I said before, it's Baron Samadhi. What do you call it here? Saboa, right? Something like that, right? Yeah. So anyway, the Saturday here, they go out, right? You want to go out. They want to go out, and on that Saturday, yeah, on that Saturday, they want to go out and then they drink the alcohol, yeah, which also lets them become a portal, yeah, lets them become a portal for darker forces, and then they want to engage in lustful activity, not just lustful activity, yeah, sabado, right, sabado, right. Not just lustful activity. My Portuguese is actually coming on really, really well, actually. and I think that I will have mastered it within the next so many months, maybe the next 6 months. Just be honest, yeah, right. And then because they are committing these acts of evil, but they don't know, because the noise that gets created. If you watch it now, and you see what happens to beings, it's so subtle. But remember, all of the killing. So when the beings drink, this is evil, because they go, oh, it's just a drink, blah, blah, blah. But they are in denial, in ignorance of the fact of the amount of people that are going to use that drink to commit evil acts against others, causing them harm, raping them and stuff like this, or doing crazy things to them, yeah? All of this is a part of the Jezebel mind. And that's why now you will see lots more women, yeah, who are killing. I've said it before, yeah, I've said it before, right? They were killing their own children. And when I tell you, there was one doing it only the other day. I think she was 31. And a lot of them times they're doing it in the 31. And that age group of people who are about 30, 32, is happening a lot. It's happening a lot because they are even more further removed from spirit, and they are even more closer towards the depravity that resides within matter. Because, like I say, when you keep gazing upon it and you keep giving your all to it, then it's going to give you more of the darkness that resides within it, in order to bring you back towards the light, which is that first one that I was reading, but I wrote it in note form, so I couldn't even hardly understand it myself, right? That is what I'm talking about, right? And this metaphysical, alchemical, philosophical knowledge has to be given out, because this is occult knowledge of now, of right now. It's no good me keep going on about what happened in the past, because that's gone. We need to know about what's happening here. And a lot of the entities, all the big supreme beings and stuff that were here previously, and in times gone by, at different timelines, different points in time, yeah, are here now for this. And that is why I say to you, yeah, about like my YouTube channel, I have never ever gone out, really. I put it out because I won't have to put it out, but I've never made efforts to grow the channel, ever. I just leave it because I work with gratitude. So the fact that they have created, to me, has been created, that enables me to put this knowledge out there is enough. Because even when this physical body is gone, then this knowledge will still be there, and I will be able to see it, and it will be picked up by the beings that require, that are illuminating themselves, that are activating in the darkness of this place. Yeah. So, right, and then we look at something like breast milk, right? You know, the beings that don't have breast milk. I got another video to do on this actually, and it's full of black magic, full of it, right? Now, the removal of breast milk increases antisocial behaviour, narcissism, and psychopathy. Yeah, because the beings didn't drink the breast milk, because of the amino acids, like we're talking about in that last video. The neurotransmitters play a massive key, yeah, in raising the level of integrating the actual being, the soul, bringing it through, that created, because it come through the mineral kingdom, see, yeah, to bring forth to manifest the physical body as the soul, yeah. So then when you instantly, like I was saying with that magnetic field, if we could see the power of, and the level of sensitivity, how delicate this force is when it comes through, for you to turn around and to go with that thing, right, with that stuff, right, it's demonic. That is why things are unfolding the way they are unfolding now. That started way before you were born, yeah, and it's born again through lack of discipline, laziness, and stuff like that, yeah. And again, this is what I was talking about, the Jezebel mind, right? Yeah, that woman. You see, like even the fly. Look how I knock the fly off, and my head's sweating when I'm doing the video. My head's not sweating when I'm not doing the video. It's just sweating when I'm doing the video, and the fly is coming. That's because this is how, look, can you see it testing me? Look, seriously. This is how how deep one can learn to perceive this reality for what it truly is. Yeah, I could get angry about it. Now imagine if I didn't know what I knew now, and then I'd be angry about it. and then the force that resides behind this, the Ahrimanic force, would just be laughing at me, getting ready to eat me, so for me to die, go back to the 9, because die is 9, and me is 9. Yeah, so this is what is happening. But woman is more susceptible to this Jezebel mind, and there was a god called Jehi. We did it before in another video. Yeah, and this so when woman becomes fallen, she becomes depraved, depravity, they seem to prey upon man, which is why those 4 I was speaking about, Nama, Lilith, and the 2 others, they are in alignment with the four polarities of the soul. Another video that we did previously, which is the four polarities of the soul and the Wheel of Fortune, right? And so when what they would do is operate as a succubus within man's dreams. So this is, and a Jezebel in woman is the woman will dress up to capture the man in a sexual fashion, to use the beauty of nature, yeah, in a sexual way, in a lustful way, in order to entrap a man. So she is using matter. See, women can cast spells. Man can do these things, obviously, but women can cast spells with their voice. That's why some men have been known to attack and kill women because of things coming out of her mouth. Can't handle it. In the Bible, it will tell you in there that the worst thing man can do is be around a quarrelsome woman. You have to recognize you are not going to go anywhere. So when we try to move away from the things in matter that are, God, it's hard work. That's why I'm doing this. That's why I always do this, to let beings know how this works. Yeah, right. Because I've been here before, like this, but I've been to many other worlds that are like this. So this is what happens, right? So so then we cannot, if we then turn around and go, right, if women can be like that, yeah, not all women, and this negative, and the man as well, yeah. See, this is how they easily create this divide. Because man, he's speaking about women, he hates women, he's sexist. Yeah, go against him. No, we're just pulling out the defects that reside within woman when she's not being able to, act, become her true authentic self, right? Yeah, and so women can use the astral serpent, it resides within woman, which captures man, captures man, and he becomes enchanted by the look of woman. So the woman uses this. You see, on like I told you, they use the platforms, the Facebook. You didn't create that. You didn't create that. So when you put this story and you say, I go on a story and there's all these women on there doing all these things, all these poses and stuff. Fine. There's nothing wrong with expressing beauty. I love women for the beauty. But you see, but then what happens is the balance becomes disrupted because of the Jezebel energy, the Jezebel that's within woman, yeah, within the subconscious, doesn't get recognized for what it is, and then beings, other women, the energy within that they feed upon. The idea of the fact that a man wants you but he cannot have you is one thing. Man cowers down to woman. I will not do it. I won't do it. I will battle it for what it is. But I have listen, I have a knowing that enables me to be able to do that. But this is what the man does, and this is how the sorcerers use matter against man, because man cannot go back to the cause of his issue, because the dysfunctional feminine, yeah, wants to be victim and mother at the same time, and that suppresses the masculinity of this man, who he needs to be able to express himself as a strong force, as a man. If he is being mothered, yeah, by fear, he's been suppressed, and now he cannot go and stand up. That's what happens. He cannot go and stand up against the sorcerers because the woman is in fear of her not being able to get the trinkets, the material trinkets that are being given by the sorcerer through this man who is a conduit to release his energy sexually and through matter. He's releasing his energy through the sex, is he not? Yeah. And then the man's sexual force, I'll tell you, right. Before the serpent energy that's within me, before I was able to control it, when I was much younger, in my early 20s, I was lustful like that, like many of you would have been. Yeah. Like I would cheat on women. Yeah. When I was younger. I'm 41 now. I'm talking about when I was 21. Stuff like that. Yeah. And even into my mid-20s and beyond. Mid-20s, not past that, but mid-20s and beyond, because when I hit sort of 29 and 30, that's when all my metaphysical powers were manifest, came into fruition through the work that I was doing. I've knocked on an old lady's door, and the knowledge that I already know was taken to a whole new level because I was now being initiated into the arts, right, of the supernatural world, right. So I wasn't able to know because I was born into ignorance, was I not? And I was following the footsteps of my father because that's what I had seen. You see, for what you had already seen, yeah. And the astral experiences and stuff like that before that was with LSD and all that was drug induced, but that was also, it's all predetermined, yeah, all predetermined, yeah. But the sexual force within me, I wasn't able to command and control that because I didn't know what it was, and that is evil. It's evil, and that's what's happening out here now. So they use that in the music. Some beings, some men have this force, and if they know how to command it, then they can produce and do some massive magical things with magic, right? And well, yeah, because they've activated, that's the supreme serpent force is being commanded, yeah. And if you don't know how to command that, they can have you just literally constantly wasting. There's somebody that that's what that is. So when you have a strong sexual drive, sexual force, that's what that is. It's a serpent energy, serpent force that you are not able to command. Now that's man and woman, right? That you are not able to flip that and hold that and command that and raise it, yeah, because you don't know what it even is. But then imagine that. So then now that can be is used by this Lilith force, Nama force, right? Yeah. And this is what they do. And then those forces, and then they say the witches used to go up high on the mountaintops when the ether, because they go towards the gases, which is next closer to the ether, right? At certain points, yeah, certain points of the year, to venerate these demonesses, right? So these demonesses, yeah, right. Woman, the matriarchal risen woman, who used to be commander, fell, and started to corrupt man like that, as the actual family unit, which is what they used to do. So they return man against themselves, turn father against son, and blah 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 blah. That's how they would do it, because of a lust for power, and then that has continued, and continued to grow and grow to the point where now we have a situation where man, like I say, because of his sexual force, one reason, he cowers down to the woman, and the woman becomes like, the way the woman sees matter, they see it as a threat. Oh no, I don't like it. Oh no, don't do that. Oh. And then man becomes suppressed. But she doesn't like it. What am I doing? Oh, she doesn't like this. She doesn't like that. Don't like this. Don't like that. all these things that like, because of the dysfunctional sensitivity that comes with the woman, because she is too right brain imbalanced, not enough masculine in there. Yeah, too overly feminized. And then the man, he's become sucked in because woman can enchant man. That's how powerful the woman is. She is the true magician. She has a supreme magician, magical powers. Yeah. So she then enchants her man. This is happening in her home. Don't worry about no Illuminati or no this or no that. This is what we need to recognize and overcome. And we do recognize it, but we don't quite recognize it properly. And then we think, oh no, that man should stay away from woman, or if man goes next to woman and does anything with woman, and therefore a child is born, which is light, which is life, is some sort of detriment to the soul. No. Because we are venerating life. We're not against life. So this is what matter is presenting to us in order so that we could overcome it. Because if I know that if I sat down with most man, like in England, you say, oh, the wife is the boss, go and speak to the boss, yeah. While I know all the things I know now, that's why I love this place. I love knowing and learning. I even stopped, I put some work out on Facebook. I even stopped doing it the other week because the things that I wanted to put in, I would rather put them in the video than have them just written down. Because we are coming towards a key moment now. It's also like you're going to see with this metaverse thing I've mentioned a few times. It's coming. I know it's coming because I'm able to see it. And there's things that we don't realize here because because of matter. What I mean by matter, we are outwardly looking at information and facts and conspiracies and blah blah blah. It deceives us. And then we forget and realize, oh, hang on a minute, you see this technology that we're already using, I am using it to put out knowledge and light. I have learned so many things through that technology already. So it's about who is the beholder. Beauty's in the eye of the beholder. So it's when it's within the soul and the soul has it, yeah, it's not, we can use it for the forces of good. Yeah, and it's going to be the same thing. But that metaverse thing will come because because of the way that the beings are enchanted by matter. They're casting spells all the time by going, oh, it could never change. It's like always will be. Oh, it's always meant to be like this. And then they are constantly compounding that. So don't think that somehow that it's going to change like this. It's not going to change. What's going to happen is that they're going to shift towards the metaverse because they've already destroyed the physical. Like that, because they're demons. That's what's happening. Because they cannot get no resolution out of the physical, then some conscious beings will create metaverse, yeah, with some consciousness, so that they can create a new utopian world inside that cannot be controlled by these beings. Like I started to hear some beings going, cryptocurrency is the government. No, it's not the government, mate. No, we missed the chance. We think that it's so one-sided. You know what we think? We think it's so one-sided that there is nothing that we can do, and everything is being bought by the beast, by the demons, by these. It's not. When we hit 2020, they had to start rewriting the script. Yeah, the script's being rewritten because I told you about the thing with you, which you hear elsewhere as well. The thing with Uranus and Saturn and Pluto, right? And the 45-year cycle, and the fact that it's already technology. When they started the .com with the internet, it's all because of that. But Uranus wants to give to the poor, but they know that, so they're standing in the way and they're altering the reality to suit how they want it to be, so that they can still be directing their movie as we continue to go forward. Yeah, but through forms of technology, yeah, freedom can be created, but we don't realize it because you have to remember the mind creates the physical matter. So the things that are here, so like this thing that's here, is there because somebody created it. Technology is there because man creates it. Yeah, and he's supposed to be creating it to aid. So if we go all the way back, yeah, you go all the way back into the ancient times, or even before that, yeah, before any floods and stuff, you'll find we had technology, and obviously the technology we had, yeah, you know, star forts and stuff like that, things that were pulling ether it was tethered to the reality. It wasn't something that wasn't detached from the reality. It was tethered to the reality, so therefore it was working in a virtuous way in order to progress life, so that we can progress. Yeah, it's only because we let these beings take over. When they created the internet, we let them do it. You was asleep. You didn't know nothing. That's what happened. But if you did, you'd have realised there was an opportunity then for us to have ownership of the internet. But because we didn't realise, but they did work with the seven spirits of the throne, yeah, they know that they can create this now. They can create it towards their benefit, because you don't know what's going on because you were dead. So this is why I say that these beings that are here, they are dead. They are technically dead. Yeah, they're like the Walking Dead. And if I go up to them and I poke and prod them and say, do you know that you are causing the effects that happen in your life because of the things that you've already previously keep doing, and I show them the extent of it, they will get angry and tell me to move, go away, because they don't want me to wake them up out of their dead state, do they? The dead, living dead don't want to be brought back to life, right? That's how things are. And the thing with the man and woman, I'm going to continually I'm going to go into it even more. Like, I was already going into it anyway, but I'm going to continually go into it. But this one here, it needs to be known. Yeah, the knowledge, what's happening is beings are practicing evil. Yeah, but they don't know the knowledge of evil, but yet they are practicing evil. We need to know what the knowledge of evil is, and we are knowing what the knowledge of evil is because of our souls, and we're on a level of consciousness now that is enabling us to see what evil is. Because that's why I told you, this is why the Aramanic force that runs through this place, it's here to test you at first. It's here to tempt you, and it will sit at your feet, because we are the ones that are actually really experiencing this dream as it is, which is what is happening, right? So just put one more in there. Matter gives us what we are on all levels. The quality of our goods and foods, prepared cars, houses, everything operates on levels and layers attached to our emotional field, and how we treat each other. Yep, and the way we perceive the reality. Matter is the judge and headmaster of this realm. Yes. So the goods and the food produce and everything else that gets created, yeah, when we are working in harmony with one another, and we are happy, right? Do you know that the quality of the goods and everything, we know, which we see anyway. That's how they created all this toxic GMO food and all that, artificial food and that, because we're not in that loving phase. So if someone cooks a meal or cook some food, right? Now, if that person's showing love and intent over that food, yeah, it will taste better. If you focus on what you are doing when you are preparing something, and you put deep focus into it and love and care into it, it'll come out better. And that is what happens on the macro level here in matter, because it works on layers and levels. Everything works on layers and levels. So what I can feel from something, what I can feel from the age you're in, someone else can't feel it. What I can feel from some of the plasmas that I create, someone else can't. You can feel it to a different degree. Yeah. When you meditate, you might not meditate. When I might not feel what you can feel when you meditate, because we're operating on different layers and levels. And it's only when we come together. Yeah, that then we can create then we can create an alignment that enables us all to reach the heights of what can be within matter. And that is what matter is asking of us. It's asking for us to recognize it with our supernatural sight, and the higher levels of our emotional field, yeah, and our etheric body, yeah, and everything else, yeah, in our activated state, yeah, to be able to recognize it for what it is, and then we can become commander of the different layers that are encompassing the reality that we are experiencing. So peace and love. We'll see you on the next one.